Hello, Liverpool fans. Welcome to the Liverpool Report, your go-to source for the latest news, match updates, and transfer stories straight from Anfield. Don't miss out on any of the action. Hit that subscribe button now and stay in the loop with all things Reds. Window after window has passed, but Jonathan David remains at Lille. This summer, however, the Canada striker will become a free agent, and it remains anyone's guess where he ends up. For 5 years, he has been linked with moves to the majority of Europe's big clubs, and tonight, the 25-year-old will be presented with another audition at Anfield. Liverpool's recruitment at the end of the season remains up in the air until a decision is made about the big three nearing the end of their deals. But if Mohamed Salah goes, then Arneslot's front line will require bolstering, and the links with David were there sporadically through the Jurgen Klopp era. Tottenham are among those to have been talked up as a destination in recent days too, but Lille have made it clear that David will not be leaving the club this month. Signing a new contract, on the other hand, appears unlikely with an offer made months ago, but no signal that it will be signed. What am I waiting for? I guess now it's easier to say, I'm in the last year of my contract, David said earlier this season. Eventually my contract is going to run out. So then we'll see. We'll see what happens next year. I'm open to anything. I think obviously the Premier League is regarded as one of the best leagues in the world. And for me, it's not the Premier League or bust. I'm open to anything, and every league has its challenges. David's agents have recently reiterated that everything is on the table when it comes to his future, and he is doing a good job at auditioning so far this season. He arrives on Merseyside with 17 goals scored across League One and the Champions League so far this season. Only Mason Greenwood has found the net more in the top tier than his dozen, and Lille sit in third spot, on course for again reaching next season's Champions League. Bruno Genosio's team are unbeaten in 20 games, with their most recent defeat coming against Ruben Amorim's Sporting Lisbon in mid-September, and sit 8th in the bloated Champions League phase table before this week's games. They are almost guaranteed a playoff spot, and much of it is down to David's brilliance. He may not have scored in 5 appearances, but he did provide a third assist of the season in the weekend win at home to Nice, proving he can still turn creator when not finding the net himself. David, who can finish with both feet, has been used as a solo man up top by Genesio, but in the past he has proven that he can mix things up and drop deep or act as a support striker. Such versatility is what makes him so attractive to teams across the continent. Ibrahima Konate revealed he gifted Liverpool's medical team cookies for their efforts to get him back to full fitness quickly. But when contract talk was on the menu yesterday, the Reds defender was not so forthcoming on how close he is to signing a new deal. Ahead of tonight's Champions League clash with Lille, Konate, 25, did confirm that he has been offered a new deal by the club, but did not elaborate when asked if he was close to signing. He is the latest Liverpool star, mulling over a contract on offer from the club. The France defender was offered a new deal earlier this season, but he has yet to put pen to paper with 18 months left on his current contract. Mo Salah, Trent Alexander-Arnold and Virgil van Dijk have all been in discussions with the club over new deals, but theirs are set to expire in the summer. Konate said yeah when asked if he has been offered a deal, but then added that is another conversation when questioned if he is close to signing. He earlier said, I think I am really focused on what happens now. We will see what will happen. Konate returned to full fitness earlier this month to face Manchester United after overcoming a knee injury quicker than expected. The France centre admitted he is playing through the pain to ensure he helps his teammates after Joe Gomez picked up a hamstring injury at the end of December, leaving the Reds short of centre-backs. And there was a special present from Konate to the club's medical team for helping him return faster after he picked up the injury in November's 2-0 win over Real Madrid. He said, the plan was for me to train on this week before United game, but when I saw Joe with this injury, I thought, okay, I have to come back really quick and don't really think about my knee. The first game, for sure I felt it a little bit, but the pain got better day after day. It's fine, it's enough for me to play. The physios and medical staff have done a very good job for me. Every day I don't know how long I spent at the club every day when I was injured, and I was very happy, and I thanked them with some cookies. This season, they have done a very good job with me. They never take a risk with me. It was very me who was ready. I play with a bit of pain, but it is enough to play. Konate and Virgil-van-Dijk kept their 7th clean sheet as a pairing in the Premier League this season when the Reds beat Brentford on Saturday to go 6 points clear at the top of the table. They've also kept 5 clean sheets in a row in Europe, and a point tonight against the in-form League One side will ensure the Reds coast into the last 16 stage of the Champions League. When asked if his partnership with Van Dijk is the best in Europe, Konate added, "This season, yeah, I think so. Everyone knows Virgil and everyone knows his quality. For me, he is the best. No one is better than him in this position. I never said it to him, but in interviews I've always said I just want to be better than him one day, and that is why I work hard to reach this level one day. He would be proud, I think." Brazilian defender Murillo won't be heading to Liverpool this month after penning a new 4-year contract at Nottingham Forest. His new deal will put to bed any chance of the 22-year-old, who has been one of the inspirations behind Forest's shock surge to 3rd in the Premier League, moving to Anfield in the January transfer window. And it could prove costly for the Reds after Jamie Carragher suggested he's exactly the kind of player who could help them wrap up the title. Merseyside icon Carragher has bemoaned the fact Arneslot lacks a left-sided centre-back who can play left-back if required, and he suggested earlier in January that if Liverpool were to add a player of that profile this month, they would be certain to reclaim the crown. Liverpool need, I've said this for a long time, they need that left-sided defender who can sort of do a little bit of both, he said on the Stick to Football podcast, brought to you by Sky Bet. Stature, presence, and just a bit more power. That's my only... I think if Liverpool sign that player in January, nothing's been linked but it's crying out for. I think if Liverpool did that, I'd be almost certain that they'd win the league. Slot's side already boast the best defensive record in the Premier League this season, having conceded just 20 goals in 21 games. However, the centre-back options behind captain Virgil van Dijk, including Ibrahima Konate and Joe Gomez, have looked somewhat lightweight at times. Missing out on Murillo, who has played on the left side of defence for previous club Corinthians, will smart that much more, knowing the player himself has already name-checked Liverpool in terms of his own ambitions. The Brazilian cited other Premier League giants in the same sentence, but clearly has a goal of one day making that step up in scale. "I had the dream of playing in the Premier League, and I had that thought," he told the Benjamin Mucho podcast last summer. "I thought, I'll go to Nottingham Forest, have a good year, and then I'll go to a big club. I had that in my head. I'd choose Manchester City, but it would be more difficult for me to be a regular starter given the players they have in their squad. There's City Arsenal as well, who are fighting for the Premier League title. I wouldn't discard Liverpool either. It would be a good opportunity for me to show my football in a big club. As well as the likes of Konate and Gomez not being able to match Van Dijk's levels, the pair have each endured their injury troubles in the past. Murillo, meanwhile, has been an omnipresent force for Nuno Espirito Santo's side, who boast just as many Premier League clean sheets as Liverpool this term with 9. Liverpool boss Arne Slot has subtly applauded Martin Zubimendi's qualities as the midfielder edges towards a move to Arsenal. The Reds and the Gunners have both been linked with the Real Sociedad midfielder, who has continued to see his stock rise. Liverpool were in the hunt for the Spaniard after he produced an excellent cameo in the final of Euro 2024, but missed out. Mikel Arteta had been tracking Zubimendi prior to that, and it is reported that Arsenal have secured a deal to sign the 25-year-old come the summer. Liverpool's interest was well documented as they embarked on a summer-long quest to land the midfielder. Slot, though, has made great use of the likes of Alexis McAllister and Ryan Gravenberch, who has begun to realise the potential he showed as a youngster. The Liverpool boss insists Zubimendi, without naming him, would have been more than comfortable operating in their midfield. Such are his attributes. He told TNT Sports when discussing his deeper midfielders standing in the pocket between the opposition midfield and attack, "I prefer them to get the ball behind those two. Therefore, these two, Liverpool centre-backs, are so important that we can find them behind those two, first line of opposition press, instead of asking the ball over here or there, wide. We prefer them keep more in midfield. I even think the player that we wanted to bring in, I think it's out in the open that much. was also a player that was really comfortable, is still a player that is really comfortable on the ball and can bring the ball from our last line to our forwards. Arsenal will be the team to benefit from those talents if he does end up making the switch to the Emirates. Arteta is keen to strengthen his team, ideally in January, but may have to wait until the summer to land some major recruits. The North Londoners are not short of talent in the middle of the pitch. Martin Odegaard is the team's playmaker and has commanded the number 10 role with the likes of Declan Rice and Thomas Partey operating behind him, with the Englishman particularly earning continued plaudits. Liverpool, meanwhile, haven't struggled despite missing out on Zubimendi. Federicochiesa became their only summer signing, and even he has barely featured with Slot, maximising the squad he inherited from Jurgen Klopp. The Reds are clear at the top of the Premier League and sit top of the Champions League standings.